Hey guys, it's Nate, aka TheFutAccountant. Welcome back to the channel. We are one day closer to FC26, and that means we need to look at some dates because there are some important days upcoming that you need to know about related to crucial FC26 information and when we can get on this game for the first time. We're going to discuss everything from the web app to the ever important launch pitch notes that are coming soon, and of course, when we can actually log in to FC26. If you guys are excited for it today and excited for FC26, drop a thumbs up on the video and subscribe if you are new. Let's take a look at these dates from starting with the here and the right now. Guys, it's going to be probably still a couple slow weeks before we get into the real meat and the real goodness of news for FC26 stuff, but I'm assuming that in the next couple of days, and especially as we get into next week, we're going to start hearing about icons. Now, you're like, Nate, we already know about icons. Yes, we know about the pre-order icons, and of course, we do have all of the leaks for the actual base icon cards that are going to be coming in FC26 that are out already, but EA haven't even started to promote those at all yet. And last year, on this very day, actually, we started to get some of those first kind of news pieces about Gareth Bale and some of the icons that came last year, like Buffon as well, in FC25. So I would expect to see some of that this week and into this next week. Starting next week on Monday, what I would expect to see are the first official, truly official club stat reveals. We're talking about this post last year from Chelsea showing Cole Palmer and Lauren James, their official cards in a cool graphic like this. This is just that picture from last year that they tweeted out themselves, Chelsea Football Club. I'm expecting some news like that, and then in the next couple of days after that, EA will start opening up the FC26 reveal of their own database. Now, again, we still have a database that is open right now, and I've actually been on it a good bit. If you watched the stream yesterday, we were looking at some cards on that database because it is up and running. But once again, those are leaked ratings, but they're probably very close to what we're actually going to see from this page when it gets updated to be FC26 ratings. So the reason I put that on the graph here is just because that's when we should get the real news, and that's when websites like Futbin will have their squad builders and all of the official stats loaded in, where we can start making those true starter teams. Now, what is this happening on the 10th here? Well, this is Wednesday. This is 1 week before the web app will be coming out on the 17th of September. But what happens usually is before that, the web app from FC25 is going to shut down. What we're going to see is this FC25 web app say it's going to be shut down. It won't be able to be logged into or anything like that. Also, the companion app usually isn't working around that time as well, I believe. And EA basically is revamping it and updating everything for FC26. So that's all that is, but that is worth noting if you're somebody who uses the web app a lot, or if you're trying to get web app access in 25 right now so that you can use it in 26. That's something to kind of take note of right there. And of course, as we move into next week at the end of the week, we should be getting the official full database of FC26 players. Again, there were 17,470 players last year, or this year, in FC25. Looking into FC26, there's probably going to be about the same, if not even more, because they added a couple more leagues. This will finally, hopefully, give us the true answer. Are we getting any players from the Brazilian league? Some of those top clubs, there's still rumors about that. Are we getting players from Liga MX? There's still rumors about that as well. We've seen Alan St. Maximin have leaked cards. Of course, he's playing in Liga MX for Club America. Is that happening? We'll find that out, as well as we'll find out so much more about the cards in this player ratings reveal. So that's probably the next biggest thing over the next 2 weeks is the ratings, the official announcements from EA, and the web app going down. Not really that important of things, but you're going to see down here at the very bottom on the 15th of September, which is the Monday before the web app launch. This is a very possible time frame for one of the most important pieces of information that we get before the new Ultimate Team comes out in the last few years. This has been a relatively new thing that EA has been releasing. It is the Ultimate Team launch update. It's a pitch notes article with very important, very specific information about what content's going to come out. Some more excuse me, some more dates and some more information coming for the early access time period in terms of the season, what it's going to be called, when it's going to be dropping, some of the rewards that are going to be inside of it. This is last year's FC25 launch pitch notes update for Ultimate Team. There's so much in here. They're talking about weekly objectives, showing us how much SP is going to be available, even some of the rewards inside of that first season, even the cards that are going to be inside that first season, right? Last year, the first kind of season was called Total Rush, even though it wasn't the first promo. It was like the second promo of the year after Road to the Knockouts, and we had some of those Total Rush cards in the season pass inside of objectives. But this last year is where we learned about the insane buff to FUT Champs rewards. Remember, guys, last year we were going crazy 2 days before the web app came out because we saw that EA was going to give people who went 15-0 200,000 coins and a guaranteed icon pack. That was insane. Now, obviously, that is probably one of the reasons why the power curve was so fast moving in FC25 and how the market ended up becoming a lot more unusable. There was so many coins. It really just made things fun to see right away, but then we really didn't realize at the early stages of FC25 how that would impact things throughout the rest of the year. But all of that was learned, at least the rewards changing, was learned right away before the web app came out with this launch pitch notes update. There's so much in here, guys. Division Rivals, they posted all the rewards in here for that. They talked about friendlies. They talked about evolutions. Hopefully, this is going to also kind of answer some questions for us about goalkeeper evolutions. It's going to answer some questions for us about the icons that are incoming. But specifically, I feel like a lot of our questions right now are related to the tournaments, to Gauntlet, and to those live events. We have a lot of questions about that and how they're changing FUT Champs rewards this year as well. Always, we have to kind of take the FUT Champs rewards this year, as we've already been saying, with just the knowledge that EA is trying to slow down the power curve. So I'm overall expecting a huge bit of news from this Ultimate Team launch update pitch notes once again. And I put this on the 15th because that's when I would expect it to drop. That's when it was released last year. It could come as early as the 11th or 12th. It has in previous years come the week before we get on the Ultimate Edition early access time frame. So that would be the 12th, that Friday, but it could be the 11th, 12th, somewhere in those couple of days there before we get into the real good stuff. But it's a lot of info in there, which is why I wanted to talk about it for a bit today. Now we get into the good stuff, guys. This is the calendar for the best part of September when we get on the game. All starting with September 17th, which is official web app day and the first day of Team of the Week 1 as well. Those always coincide. The web app is almost always dropped on a Wednesday. Again, we have to say all of this. With these dates here, they're almost guaranteed because most of these dates are the exact same every single year. We know for sure that the release date of the Ultimate Edition is the 19th and the Standard Edition is the 26th. The web app is almost always 2 days before. In previous years, like back in FIFA 20, FIFA 21, maybe even FIFA 22, the web app period was like a week long, but not anymore. EA doesn't do that. They give us 2 days for the web app and then they get us on the actual game. I think I like it a little bit better in that regard anyways, but that's a huge, huge day, right? Because that means everybody's going to be F5 refreshing the web app as it will be turning on for FC26. We'll be able to get into Ultimate Team for the very first time, start our clubs. We're going to make a whole bunch of videos about that, guys. We're going to get prepared. We're going to get active in how to start, especially with the web app this year, looking like it's going to be different in terms of the beginner SBCs that we are going to be doing. And welcome backpacks. We're going to talk about that. Trading. How can you make your first 10, 15,000 coins that can put you ahead from the web app stage for when you actually get on to the real game of FC26? We're going to be covering that very soon, all in the lead up of the web app. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But that's a huge day, right? Getting on the game, doing all the stuff, getting in the menus. Can't play games, obviously, on the web app, but you can do all of your club management type of stuff. And then Team of the Week 1 is in packs there as well. And that has some market implications for sure. Now, Thursday, the next day, the 18th of September, is the companion app release date. It's always web app. Then the next day is the companion app, the phone app updates, the App Store, the Google Play Store. You're able to get on there. And also, I would believe this is when the first season pass would drop because season passes are almost always on Thursday. So I would be expecting that there. And I don't know how it's going to work if you pre-order the Ultimate Edition, because I'm guessing if you're on the web app, you're not going to be able to claim your pre-order rewards of getting the premium season pass From the web app, I think you're going to have to wait to get that until we actually log into the game. That's one of the things I'm very, very curious about and really interested in seeing. But that's going to be happening on the 18th as well. And then the big day, the 19th of September, is the day where we actually get to log into FC26. I believe the game will be able to be pre-downloaded a couple of days before that if you're on PlayStation. On Xbox, I believe it's already pre-downloaded. But that is when we start our grind. And not only are we getting on the game that day, that's also the day where we will be getting our pre-order icon pack. Of course, those are these icons right here, not the regular base versions like this. It is these cards, that 15-player potential icon pack. You're going to get one of 15 players. It has been, of course, posted about EA, showing all the cards. That is if you pre-ordered before August 26th or whatever that date was. Those are going to be dropping when you log into the game for the first time. That's been confirmed. Also, when you log into for the first time, you're going to be getting the 2,000 FC points. That's a huge thing we're going to be talking about if you've missed it. We get 6,000 FC points this year, but they're spread apart into 3 different released drop dates. It's 2,000 points straight away, which means we're going to get into the store, start ripping some packs and getting some coins. And then also on that date, I believe we're going to get a Season 1 Premium Pass, some sort of redeemable token, which will enable us to get the Premium Season Pass for free. I'm really curious to know how much that's going to cost. We'll talk about that a lot here soon too. And then I believe we'll get our Ultimate Team Evolution player slot, that extra unlockable at that stage as well. So a lot of stuff should be coming from the pre-order rewards right away when we log on to the game. Now, that's, of course, a whole different conversation when the grind is starting there. When we're getting on the game, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be an absolute madness. It's going to be the best, right? But the 19th is the day that it releases, right? And actually, I'm going to pull into the PlayStation Store here because just a little bit ago, there's been some news that FC26 in the PlayStation Store is showing that it's going to be released earlier than the 19th. It says here, as you can see, the 18th. So I don't know if that's just a typo or some sort of error, because I believe before it did say the 19th, and it always releases on a Friday. However, just watch out for that if you're on PlayStation. But I want to mention a couple of things regarding when you can actually get on the game. First of all, the Xbox New Zealand trick. If you're familiar with this, you'll know what I'm talking about. But this is going to get people on the game if you're on Xbox 11 hours earlier than other people, because you know how the world works, right? With time zones, it's going to be midnight from going to the 18th into the 19th in New Zealand before it will be, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in the United States like me. So a lot of people on Xbox do the old Xbox trip to New Zealand. They change their location on Xbox to New Zealand, and it gets them on the game earlier because it thinks they're in that country and in that time zone. So that is how that works. If you want to do that, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody being banned for it. It seems a little risky, but I've heard so many people do it over so many years. And 11-hour head start, that's a pretty big deal. So that only works on Xbox, but I wanted to explain that. And second of all, as we mentioned here, the release date on PlayStation shows the 18th. I think if you're on EA Play Pro on PC, you're going to be getting it on the 18th as well. So that's just kind of one thing to mention. But, you know, just watch the whole landscape as we get closer and closer to this actual date to see kind of what times. Usually it is midnight, your time zone, on the 19th when the games unlock. Like, that is the date always. So midnight UK, which is 7 p.m. my time here in USA on Eastern time frame. That's when you see people get on the game. And actually, that's when you see a lot of market movements as well. I wanted to pull up this tweet because that's when the market starts going mad. This Cole Palmer was 25,000 coins. The Ultimate Edition opened up for the UK and for Europe at that midnight time frame, and this Cole Palmer went from 25K down to 6,000 coins in a couple of hours. He went straight back up to like 13,000 coins, and I sold him 2 to 3 hours later, making 6,000 coins a card. It was insane trading. It's going to be very similar this year, but it's going to be different as well because we have less FC points. There's going to be a lot to trade and a lot to talk about in those first couple of days, like these 3 days here, and then into the weekend as well. It's going to be market madness. It is the best. Now, that's the big day, the 19th, when we get on the game. Let's move on for a couple more pieces of information. when you get on the game. We're going to talk a lot about the strategy, of course, here soon. But Squad Battle Rewards is the first mode that you're going to want to be playing because that's the first mode that gives out rewards. And those rewards are going to be on Sunday the 21st. Again, if nothing changes with Squad Battle Rewards, that's very important. It's also the best mode to play because you're playing offline. You get a bit of a chance to use your silver players that you don't want to use against online players anyway. Who cares? You're just going to play against maybe semi-pro or maybe move up the ranks a little bit to a higher difficulty just to get some better rewards. But that's the best place to start playing right away at the beginning to get those first set of rewards on Sunday. But then Division Rivals rewards and the Team of the Week number 2 will come in on that second week of the game on a Wednesday and on Thursday. And of course, every single day after the 17th, we'll be logging in and checking content because apart from the new Team of the Weeks that'll be dropping on Wednesday, they'll be dropping pack SBCs. They'll be dropping maybe some of our first evolutions at the start of the year. One thing that's different this year about the pre-order rewards is in the past 2 years of FC24 and FC25, we've gotten a pre-order Evo, not an Evo slot, but actually an Evo, right? Remember every year for the past couple of years, like Darwin Nunez, Timo Werner, last year I think Endrick and Ansu Fati were very popular for that starter, striker, or it was a winger. I think it was a striker or a winger evolution, one of the two, that we had that straight away at the beginning, and that had a lot of cards moving on the market. We don't have that this year. You just get a evolution slot for a consumable that allows you to Evo 2 cards at the same time, which is something we usually have to wait until like March or February for normally. That's happening straight off the bat with the pre-order bonus for the Ultimate Edition. So I'm really curious to know when and how much content starts dropping with Evos and with the tournaments as we start into the year this year. I don't think we're going to get Gauntlet straight away because you need multiple teams of cards for that, and we're not going to have enough straight away at the beginning of the game for that. But the 24th will be the next Wednesday after Team of the Week 1. We'll get Team of the Week 2. The day after that should be, if nothing changes, the first Rivals rewards, which would be a great time to try to get some of your first set of rewards, big packs in that online gaming experience there. And then, of course, on Friday, the 26th, that is the Standard Edition release and probably the first promo of the year as well. Last year, the first promo was Road to the Knockouts. We had Team of the Week 1, Team of the Week 2, and then on that first Friday of the Standard Edition release, Road to the Knockouts Team 1. We had 2 weeks of that, and then we moved into the Total Rush promo. We really don't have any leaks, as I'm recording this video right now, of what the first promo is going to be. We're going to know what it is after EA released these launch update pitch notes, but that's still a couple of weeks from now, so we'll just keep our eyes and ears peeled for that information there. But that's all obviously a big day as the whole entire world gets on the game. Don't expect to play Weekend League that weekend yet. Still will be a couple of weeks away into the month of October there. And the very last thing to mention here, at the end of September, this is still a question mark, but we're hopefully getting our second installment of 2,000 FC points. Again, remember the FC points are going to work as follows: 2,000 right away when you log in, 2,000 as it is worded in EA's fine print text in the end of the subsequent month. Not quite sure what that means. It sounds like it may be at the end of October, and then the next 2,000 will be the next month after that. So yeah, it's either going to be at the very end of September here for our second installment, or we're not going to get 2,000 more FC points until the end of October, and then the last 2,000 at the end of November. I've literally directly messaged EA and said, please, please, please give us dates on this, or a date range per se, so that we know, are we getting 2,000 more FC points a week and a half after logging onto the game for the first time, or are they going to be spread out even further than that? That is really, really important information. It'll impact the market, and it totally impacts our planning for the early age stages of the cycle. But that's just something to kind of keep in mind. I would put a question mark over this if I could, but that's kind of the last date of September. So from the beginning of September, where we are right now, to the end, there is a lot that is upcoming, guys, but it is exciting times because we are getting very close to getting on FC26. And yeah, those are all the dates that you really need to know right there. Let me know in the comments what you're excited for most about 26. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll try to get active down there answering some things. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because very soon we're going to be talking a lot about how to prepare for FC26. Get the best start on the web app, get the best start when you're in the game. Should you be buying or selling players? All of that good stuff. And add on top of that, all the things that are going to be different this year in 26 than have been different in previous years, like FC25. So again, if you enjoyed this one, drop a thumbs up on it, comment up if you have any questions, and subscribe if you're new. It's been TheFutAccountant. I'll see you guys in the video tomorrow. Peace. out.